Good morning, lovely people. Welcome to September. Goodness, where has time gone? It's a really beautiful, warm, bright, sunny morning today. But you can definitely, or I can definitely sense that we're on the cusp of the change of season. It's gorgeous. We've had such a beautiful summer. I'm loath to let it go. I'm happy for the temperatures to be a bit lower because that really has been very wearing this summer. But it's been such a long, beautiful summer. I don't want to let it go. However, I love September and October in the garden, generally speaking, because, I don't know, that change in the smell, the change in the light, it's all beautiful. And of course, they're the months for the big harvests for me. Now, of course, throughout the whole summer, I've been picking, bits and pieces here, just picking enough to sort of eat fresh for a couple of days, and I come and pick again. Apart from the tomatoes, which have been getting preserved. But yeah, September heralds the big harvest for me, so it will be lots of beans and tomatoes, and then as we go into October, the squash. So I'm really, really excited. And you can see in the garden as well, the garden is right on that cusp of starting to look kind of tired from all the hard work it's done this summer. But my goodness, there's bounty out there. So come on, let's have a little tour of the garden at the beginning of September. Just before we actually go down to the garden, I wanted to show you this gorgeous chair. And I've got a matching one there that needs painting. But isn't that lovely? This was a gift from one of my plot neighbours because, well, she's given herself the treat of some new garden furniture. So given me this beautiful pair of chairs, and it's like it was made for my shed. So I think I've got some of the grey that's on the shed. I think I've got some of that left over so I can paint the other chair with it. How fabulous. I do have such kind people in my life. How wonderful. Right, come on, let's go and have a play in the garden. It's so beautiful this morning. This is my kind of weather. It's sunny, it's bright, it's warm, but it's not hot. Actually, to go up the garden, I'm going to take you a slightly different way. Give you a slightly different view, my snarly, gnarly path. I'm going to bring you this way. Let me just bring you all around, because we don't walk up this path very often. Just to give you a different view of how I see my garden. Here we come all the way up to bed number 1, which is now essentially a winter bed. Yes, the winter garden is pretty much in and being thought about. My peppers, they're doing beautifully. These are paprika peppers, and you can see they're just starting to colour up, as is that one. I love the shape like little pixies bonnets. Now, I was saying in the last monthly tour, I don't know what variety they are. They were just a handful of seed given to me. I've done a load of looking up online to try and find out about sort of when to know they're ripe, ready to harvest. But the paprika seem to vary from a pale creamy yellow right through to red. So I thought, oh, well, mine are the creamy yellow ones. They're ready. But now it looks like they want to go red. So I'm just going to leave those, leave them. And then just at the first sign of frost, probably about mid-October, I'll have them out and get them strung up to dry. The celeriac, this is such a lovely winter veg. They're not huge. This is my second year of growing them, and I don't seem to grow big celeriac. Maybe they need more muck. But they're fine, they're healthy, they're lush. So I would say in about 3 or 4 months' time, I might have my first one out to chow down on. There's a couple of random, I think it's Rose de Berne tomatoes. There's masses and masses of fruit on them. I've been amazed at how much one little truss can bear, both in terms of, well, not just the number of fruit, but the actual weight of the fruit. But they're starting to ripen now, so hopefully with a long, warm September, I'll get them ripe. And considering it was my second sowing really late, I'm amazed to see fruit at all. So yay! That's all the celery down there. That's going to, again, celery tends to be for me more of a winter veg. I don't like it raw, but I use it a lot in soups and stews, so that can just carry on doing its thing. The flint corn this year, as I've mentioned before, it didn't get very tall. I'm not sure why. I don't know if it was the heat and the dryness, but I've got cobs forming, so there'll be something from that to enjoy popping over Christmas. Yay! And then, of course, nearly all the brassicas are in now. I've got some Cavallo Nero on the far side, and then this side are the Groninger sprouts. I'm going to try to cut all the community grass again in a week or so, because I really need to mulch it. All I've managed for mulch so far is down in this end where I've cut my grass paths and trimmed the edges. I've tried to scoop up as much as I can to use as a mulch, but it's not very much, and it could definitely do with some more. But they're all looking perfectly healthy and happy and growing away. So these were planted out about 3-4 weeks ago, and they've really put on a good growth of a good spurt of growth. My tongue's in the wrong place today. So yeah, you know, the sight of winter veggies makes me long for winter. Look at this beautiful, absolutely gorgeous mop of cosmos. Do you remember way back when? And I had 2 teeny tiny spindly little plants from 2 sowings, and I was really concerned. Well, they may be later than everybody else's on this site, but by golly, they're pretty, and they're giving a lovely, lovely little show. And it's so nice to have them here next to the path, so anyone arriving on site gets an eyeful. And then, really late on, I did a 3rd sowing, and this one now is just starting to come into bud. So if I look after them and regularly deadhead, there's no reason why I shouldn't have blooms here right through till Christmas. Pretty tough little plants. Right, coming round now for our usual route. With this lily, it was spent by the end of July. What I do is I've cut the flower heads off because I don't want it to try and make its seed or whatever it does. And I will just leave it now. Leave it. And then by about December, January, it will have all died back, and then I'll just cut it off right at soil level and let it do its thing again next year. Oh, it's such a beauty. More cabbages, or should I say more brassicas this time. This is the January Kings that I planted again. It was about 4 weeks or so ago. They're getting monstrous now. Woo, whoppers. So what I'll start to do, it's a bit hard to see through Enviromesh, isn't it? Enviromesh is great, but you can't see through it because I've got them planted quite closely. What I'll start to do as we get into winter is I'll harvest some pretty much for the leaves before they've had a chance to form a head, and I'll do that as alternate ones so that the ones that are left in have got more space to sort of heart up and get a bit bigger. And this is wonderful. Carrots. I honestly didn't think I was going to have carrots this year. Look, there's one that's trying to chuck itself out of the ground. Where are you? Can we see that? Hang on, let me see if I can come around this way. Look at the size of it. I have been earthing them up a bit because they are starting to get pretty big. So again, I plant carrots as a winter veg in with the leeks, and the leeks are doing, can we get a shot in there of that leek? The leeks are doing pretty beautifully as well. So yes, there will be food this winter. There are plenty of brassicas, carrots, leeks. There'll be popcorn as a snack. There'll be celery and celeriac for stews and soups. How wonderful! This is the bed that always excites me. Yay! The vining bed. So down here at the front on the cucumber frame, I've got a couple of really gorgeous little baby butternuts starting to turn orange now. There's one there, and there's another one in there. Beautiful. I still have cucumbers coming. Nice size, those two. However, I did lose track of the cucumbers, and this one was hiding from me. Look at the size of it. So these ones that I lost track of, oh, there's a couple in there I'm going to now save for seed. But I love it. Every time I'm looking at the cukes, then I spy, look, another butternut, yay! And then in front of them I had all the peppers, which are still quite hard to see because they're quite green, but as they gradually start to turn a gorgeous orange, let's get the light on it, I reckon that's a couple of weeks away from harvest. Beautiful. But then eventually they turn this really, really bright orange. Excuse my voice, I'm bent double. So there's loads of peppers to come. Wonderful. But what I really love in this bed is all the squash. Oh my giddy goodness. And now you can see the foliage is just starting to die back. And this is the really exciting time of year because this is when it reveals. There's a butternut. There's a butternut. There's a butternut. There's that one that's tucked under there somewhere. You see in the middle, another one just behind it. Looking here, annoying shadow, ignore it. There's another beauty under there with one right next to it. And then of course I've got the Rouge Vif de Tempe, the Cinderellas. Let's see if we can hop over. Oh, and I just noticed another little baby one forming there. Fabulous. It's going to be quite a while before that one is. Oh, there's 3 here. I thought there were only 2. So I've got one. Oh, that's split. That'll be the first one to use. 1, 2, 3 there. Fabulous. And then, opla, another one there. And then down that end, there are 2 butternuts, but you can't see the second one because it's actually hiding under the Rouge Vif de Tempe. But look at that beauty. Isn't that gorgeous? The colour. Absolutely stunning. Oh, I'm so happy. I'm so happy with this. What looks like it's going to be an absolutely fantastic squash harvest this year. Oh, I just spied another one under there. Yay, I love it. This is what happens each day. I thought we'd go, oh, I didn't know that one was there. Didn't know that one. Hang on, let me get out again. Oh, oh. So yeah, I think I'm absolutely chuffed with the look of the squash harvest, and I cannot wait for about another 4-6 weeks time to do the harvest. Still getting tons and tons and tons of tomatoes. What I'm going to have to do now is I'm away for a few days, so when I come back I'm going to have a day, I think, that I prioritise as just harvesting, because I'd like to pick some of my beans green, gather up the dried beans, do a big tomato harvest, because they just don't know when to stop coming. Absolute beauties. Yeah, so full mega harvesting day. Look, this is what I was saying about one of the pumpkins is the Rouge Vif is sitting on top of the butternut. Are they happy bedfellows? I think so. What a happy, happy sight. And actually, since you last saw the garden in a tour, the beans have put on a bit of a spurt. And I think that's because we've had quite a bit of rain through August. So I will, with the runners, I seem to have got a load more runners now, I'll be picking a load of these to freeze green rather than to have dry. And then that's a really useful kind of backup if I have forgotten to soak any beans overnight. I can just pull a load. Hello, bee. I can just pull a load out of the freezer and get using them straight away. Oopsie. Oh, my favourite bed this year, definitely. So now, down here, this is all the coco de pampol and more coco de pampol. These are now all just left for seed saving. So again, in about 6 or so weeks, they should be dry enough to pod. I might actually do a bit more drying of them at home before I put them in jars for sowing for next year. I have 3 spare brassicas I've bunged in the corner there with no protection, just as an experiment. I can't remember what they are, but they're looking pretty healthy, and considering that they've got absolutely no protection, they're doing all right. I wonder what they are. Be fun to find out later on. Oh, need to tie some tomatoes up again. So again, these are the rose de Berne there, and on this side that I had absolutely no hopes for. But my goodness, I mean, look how they're fruiting. They're ginormous, and they are starting to ripen. So, whoopee! I'm going to have unexpected gorgeousness by way of tomatoes. Yay! And you can really see now, this bed is the perfect example of how we're on the cusp of the change of season. The green is gradually giving away to sort of faded, crispy yellows and oranges, but it's still producing beautifully. Loads of beetroot still. You wouldn't even think I'd been eating them, but I have. The carnival is definitely starting to fade now, but I love the leaves even at this stage. Gorgeous. I do always end up with mildew on my squash leaves, but I never worry about it. It doesn't affect the fruiting or the fruit itself. So yeah, why make work for myself getting rid of it all? Just let it all die back. And now where are these beauties? Oh yes, gorgeous. Oh my goodness, this is going to be the best squash harvest ever. Actually, look at those two, and then look at the two here. Completely different. Absolutely completely different. I did put 2 plants in here, so I'm wondering if one of the plants had a bit of cross-pollination. Yes, actually I can see now that these 2 and those 2 are on the different plants. But yes, prolific, absolutely gorgeous, beautiful plant to have in the garden, so that's definitely going to be on the agenda for next year if the squash taste good, which I'm sure they will. The Gala have done beautifully as well. Look at them. They're getting so warty and pimply now, which is what they're supposed to do. Hang on, let me step over. This is a bit tricky with so many squash underfoot. Oh, there we go. Yeah, look at it. Isn't that a crazy, crazy squash? They're it's really tough. So I can't wait to get my gnashes into that. How on earth am I going to peel it? Maybe it'll have to be for roasting, so I don't have to worry about peeling it. Now, all summer, I've been talking about the Violina over here. Whoopsie! The Violina over here. I'm going to find one for you. Here. But, sorry, scratchy. I've decided they're not Violina. I think they look much more like a cicerine, because Violina should be a pale beige colour with a slightly gnarly skin. There's an absolute stonker in there. Sorry, this is really crinkly for you on the sound, isn't it? So I think I've had some cross-pollination there from saved seed from a previous year. But not to worry, because they'll be edible and, well, goodness knows how they'll taste, but it's food, isn't it? I don't think you can see that one, can you? It's so dark down there. Another one there. Another one hiding in there. Yay, so they're all starting to show themselves. These are supposed to be the Sousrine. Gorgeous, what a beauty. You can see now why I'm so excited about the next few weeks as all the leaves disappear, and hopefully I'll find even more buried treasures. But they've done great. They've all done so brilliantly in this kind of teepee arrangement. And look at that gorgeous chard underneath. I mean, the colour is just audacious, isn't it? Look. So I've got the yellows and the pinks. Oh, beautiful. So I use this chard as a cut and come again veg. So I just take 2 or 3 of the outer leaves each time, and the plant keeps on growing and keeps on giving. I mean, look at that reddy pink. It's amazing, isn't it? How is nature giving us such amazing colours? Beautiful. Yeah, so I'm chuffed with the chard. I'm chuffed with the layout of this bed. It's worked really well. Definitely replicating for next year. Come on, leaf fall. I can't wait to see my squash. Yay. And you know what I was saying about the rain? My bean arches are full. Yay, this is what I wanted all along. It's so lovely. The kitty cats enjoy a little bit of shade underneath. In terms of shade, it's not an issue for the other plants because that up there is south. I'm standing at north here, that's south. So the midday and the mid-afternoon sun is coming all this way, so each bed does get plenty of light. But I suddenly have an absolute plethora of beans in here. Oh, it's gorgeous. And the other thing the rain did for us, it brought the paths back to life. So lovely to have lovely, fresh, healthy grass again, especially after I've given it a trim. Oh my goodness, it was in such a state last week, wasn't it? Bit more winter stuff. This is purple sprouting broccoli, and nasturtiums growing in there. Wow, they're getting a bit big. I think, yes, I think they need some bigger nets too. Yum, 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 yum. Always looking ahead, always making sure that there's going to be something there to shove in my belly later on. Yes, that definitely needs a bigger net. That's another job for when I get back from my visit with my mum. Potatoes. Now, this is my main crop, and I don't actually need any out at the moment because I've got the very last of my new potatoes. But just a word on harvesting and storing. If you are going to have some out while the tops are still green, the skins won't be very, well, they won't have cured, so they won't be very good for saving. So if you have them out while the tops are still green, try to use them up pretty pronto. We'll talk more about that when I do the harvest. Fennel, oh dear, sad fennel, starting to bolt. It's inevitable with the heat we've had. Again, when I come back from my travels, I'm going to I'm not a GNU. I'm going to have out what hasn't bolted, get it chopped up and frozen, because otherwise, I mean, they're tiddlers this year, but at least if I chop them up and freeze them, I've got them on hand for winter. Yay! That space over there, I've just cleared it. I had a load of rock and core left in that I was saving for seed. So that's all come out the other day. They've been podded, and I've got the seed at home having a final dry on an open tray. Hello, Rosie. Here's Rosie, who's rather shy. Oh, there she goes. Again, masses of tomatoes. Now, of course, we're getting into that time of year when blight is a real threat. So, you know what? I didn't think I was going to get anything from these. So if I do, I'll be absolutely chuffed. And there are a few in there starting to ripen. And with the green ones, well, I hate chutney. I absolutely hate green tomato chutney. I don't like any chutney. I don't like green tomatoes fried. But I've got a recipe for a green tomato curry that I can try if they have to come off green because of blight. A little space here from where the chickpeas came out. So where the chickpeas came out and where the rock and core seed saving came out, these two little bits here, I've actually got a few more brassicas to put in. I've got another type of sprouting broccoli to go in, so another job for when I get back from my mum's place. And look at, and can you pick that up? Let me see if I can get closer. The climbing bolottes. Do you know, I would grow bolottes just for their gorgeous colour, apart from the fact they're absolutely fab dried bean to have. But look at that, the way they catch the light at this time of year. Gorgeous. Whoops, sorry, that's really fast. I'm just so happy with how the garden turned out. I mean, oh, there were so many hurdles at the beginning of the year, one of which was parsnips, but you can see my third sowing of parsnips. Thank you very much to Paul and Richard for the seed. They are growing. They're a bit slower than one might expect at this time of year, but I will have parsnips at Christmas. Yay! The herb bed's just doing its own thing. I'm leaving all the flowers at the moment. I was thinking about harvesting, but I'm leaving everything because the bees are enjoying it so much, and obviously as the season changes there'll be less and less available for them to eat. So yeah, all the flowers can stay for now. My random cucumber that needs harvesting again. And then, oh actually, let me bring you this way. Hello, mister. How are you? Are you wanting some food and cuddles? Oh yes. Oh yes, says Rusty. I'll have a little cuddle. Oh. Right, buddy, I'll give you a cuddle. I'm just going to finish showing the people around the garden. Is that all right? Yes. Let me bring you a bit... Oh, just to say, how pleasing is it to get the path sorted out again? To have its first proper trim since... Oh my goodness, I think it was probably end of May. But yeah, to have a proper trim and trim. Oh, pleases me no end. I'm easily pleased, girl. I just want to bring you this way because it's coming around the big old rosemary. Hello, Vivi's shadow. Around the back of the compost bins. Look what I've got going on here. That's another gallows. So this massive greenery. Oh my giddy goodness. There was, if you look back at the July video, there was just nothing here. Well, it was starting to get away, but my two random gala pumpkins, oh, he really wants something. I've got one under the deck chair that's getting big and fat and is just starting to get warty. I've got the one I just showed you, of course, but look at the achocha. It's gone absolutely mad, absolutely bonkers. No sign of any fruits yet, but you know, even if it doesn't fruit, I'm not too concerned because I'll be able to take it down. I'm just going to show you around the back of the fence actually. I'll be able to take it all down and use it for compost, because when we get into autumn and we're trying to make compost, so much of it, look at it, is crazy. Yeah, so much of the compost we make in the autumn, I just spotted Rosie, is brown stuff. So I'm delighted actually that it looks like I'm going to have masses of green stuff from the achocha to use. But as I say, absolutely no sign of any veggies growing on it. But I'm not worried. I'm happy with it. Show me the peppermint cutting. I got a scent. Oh, right in my shadow. It's gone mad. Keep your peppermint in pots, guys and girls. So, there we have it. That, my lovely friends, is how the garden is looking at the beginning of September. And I have to say, I think it's looking mighty fine. I'm absolutely chuffed with how much food there is to come out, how much is in the ground ready for the winter. I am not going to starve. I'm going to be a nice little fat Buddha belly all winter. So yes, I'm so grateful that things have turned out well this year. after a few naughty hiccups at the start of the year. Just going to come into the shade here a second. So, bring on the harvest. Bring it on. I can't wait. I'm just going to turn you all around again. Excuse my sweaty face. It's actually really, really... Let me come into the shade a bit here. That's better. Can you see me? It's getting really warm again. So beautiful. Let us be thankful for the warmth and the sunshine and the beautiful blue skies. Let's be thankful for the abundance our gardens give us. And let's be really excited about the harvest that's on its way. Yay! So for now, I'm going to say cheerio to you all. Happy harvesting. Happy watching the season change. I will see you all again in a few days' time when I'm back from my visit, and we'll have a big old pick of stuff in the garden. So until then, take care everyone and enjoy your days.